Hello there. Welcome to the Unfazed podcast. I'm Ben Steerick.
And I'm Emmett LaFave.
And today's episode is brought to you by Pops and Cookie. That's P-O-P-S and Cookie. Check them out on Instagram and Facebook. If you want any good, delicious treats for your weddings, your birthdays, your parties, anniversaries, Pops and Cookie has you covered.
I do love delicious treats.
Dear God, I do.
So.
Got Brad Pitt on this magazine here.
Nice.
Hey, good man. Loved him in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood and Ad Astra. Very good.
Oh yeah, Ad Astra.
Yeah.
What is that even about? I know space.
I fell asleep like halfway through.
Oh.
But it was good. Yeah, it was good. It's like him and Tommy Lee Jones.
The first half of it was good.
The first half was really good.
Okay.
Yeah.
Tommy Lee Jones. I haven't seen him in anything lately.
He's great.
All,
Yeah, he's awesome. Yeah. I liked him in No Country for Old Men.
Oh, of course, yeah.
The best.
Classic.
Yeah. So what's new with you? This is technically, probably the last podcast for Unfazed for 2019 and for the rest of the decade.
That is true, actually.
Yeah. So farewell to 2019 and to the whole decade there.
Yeah, that's weird. At least for us, this is the first time that we've passed a significant decade, at least in our lives. Because
yeah,
the '90s didn't really count because we didn't know what was going on.
Little kids.
Yeah,
little kids. Yeah.
This one is honestly, I didn't even notice until I kept seeing on Twitter like, oh, the end of the decade was the last month in the decade.
Yeah.
It's
kind of underwhelming.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I gotta be honest, I'm not feeling anything.
I feel like it didn't really have much to define it, and I think that's kind of true for all decades until you're far enough away from them. Yeah. Except for the 80s, I feel like even then, if you looked at movies like The Wedding Singer, which was like 1998, something like that, 97, like they were fully aware of what that previous decade was like, because everything was like really defined by the style and the music and the pop culture and the politics, and I feel like this decade's more superficial and kind of techie and weird.
I did see a tweet that had a lot of stats about the quality of just overall the standards of living. Yeah. And they everything went up by quite a bit.
Yeah.
So and they're all saying, hey, this has been a great decade in terms of just the quality of life, and that's a super important thing.
Yeah.
And it's funny because I think it's overall been a very pessimistic decade too.
Which is ironic.
Yeah. Things are getting better, but as things get better, I think things get harder for people mentally.
Yeah. And I think people kind of get weakened a little bit, and also the better things are, the more people like to bitch.
Yeah.
They like to complain about things, and they like to, like I noticed, like the better things get overall, people want to kind of search for something to complain about because they want that struggle, and that's why you get all these people, advocating for social rights and stuff because everything else is so good.
Right. That's true. Yeah. I do think I've had a theory that all the old sayings are that you should be thankful for your health and for the roof over your head and everything. And I'm sure, right? Well, I'm sure if it's one of those things where it's like you got to touch the fire to know it's hot.
Yeah.
So if you've been homeless, if you've been like malnourished, if you've been through shit, then you really can't appreciate those things. But unfortunately, I've never been through any of that stuff. So as much as I can remind myself, I got to be appreciative of those things, I don't really feel it.
It's like fortunately and unfortunately.
Yes, yeah.
Mostly fortunately.
I think that's where all this sort of pessimism comes from.
Maybe.
Is that we're doing well, but we don't really have anything to reference it.
Yeah.
And so we're shooting higher, and those goals are tougher. And
do you think the movies right now, and movies and TV shows, are a reflection of that? I don't think so.
I don't think so. Yeah.
But one thing I do notice about movies now, like Joker, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, anything like that, everything takes place in the past.
Yes.
Very rarely do really good movies now take place in the present.
That's
you
true.
know? And I don't know why that is, but maybe it's like the lack of technology, the style, the music, the aesthetic, everything was like everything was a little bit more interesting, I think.
Yeah, I was watching a YouTube video the other day with some guy who was playing a game, and there's a lot of games now that try to recreate an 80s or 90s feel.
Totally.
This game specifically looked as if it was being played on a PS1.
What game was it?
It was I forget what it was called. It was an indie game made by some little developer, and it was a PS1 game, and it was built to look like it was almost being played on a VHS, which doesn't really make any sense,
weird.
but it had that VHS kind of fuzz. And I remember the dude who was playing was like, dude, I love the aesthetic. This aesthetic is so sick. Dude, I love it. He wouldn't shut up about the aesthetic.
What a piece of shit.
I know. Like that, I get it, that retro stuff is cool, but everyone's everyone's just so constantly obsessive over it. And I mean, I agree, it's cool, but like, you gotta calm down.
like in my opinion, like, you know, I got an affinity for the 80s. Like, I love the 80s and the 90s, you know? Like, I love them. And even stretching back to like the 60s, like Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, like that's so cool to look at. But yeah, there are a bunch of hipsters and stuff that go overboard on the vaporwave shit and everything. And it's kind of like,
we literally wrote a script that is really all about how great the 90s were.
Yeah.
It's sort of a celebration of the 90s. So we're not at all, I mean, we're on board with that. We get it, But I think it's just getting to a point where it's a little too much. We need to find something else.
Yeah, like the whole Stranger Things bandwagon and all that. It's kind of like, okay, E.T. was cool, but relax.
Yeah.
You know, relax. Relax. So as far as end of this year, what was like your top movies for the past year? Your favorites?
Oh, the past year?
Yeah, 2019.
I'll be honest, I haven't seen a lot of the good ones. I know there are good ones, but I haven't seen them. I'm assuming Once Upon a Time in the West was very good. I've got to check it out.
Wrong movie completely.
Check it out.
Wrong fucking title. Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Oh, Hollywood!
Yeah.
I didn't even notice I said that.
Once Upon a Time
in the West
was Sergio Leone?
Yeah, Sergio Leone. Well, that was a good movie too.
That was a good one.
But Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, I believe you and my dad both said it was incredible.
It was really good.
And then I heard, I didn't want to see it at first, but I've heard good things about Jojo Rabbit that came out recently.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I would see it just for Sam Rockwell.
Yeah.
That's the only reason I'd see it.
Yeah. That's really good.
The rest of it, I was kind of like, it looked too Wes Anderson. I mean, I know it's not Wes Anderson, but it kind of had that style.
Yeah.
But
I did see Ford versus Ferrari.
I want to see
that a lot.
Yeah, that looks really good.
Very well done.
Looks good. Love Bale. You gotta love Bale.
It's impressive because I know nothing about cars. I've never really been interested in cars, but it still held my attention and was very interesting.
No, I might even go see it tonight.
You should.
It looks really good.
It's very well done.
If anybody wants to go, I'm very lonely. Come on. But I want to go see that. What else is coming out? There was something else I wanted to see. I wanted to see Motherless Brooklyn, but it came and went really fast.
Yeah.
Like that's one Ed Norton did. It looked really good.
I heard it was odd. The acting was supposed to be really good, but
Well, the cast was amazing.
Yeah.
Like Bruce Willis, Willem Dafoe.
Right.
Somebody else big was in there. Ed Norton, obviously. I can't remember, but it looked really good. Yeah.
Yeah, I've heard mixed things about that one. It was Ed Norton's first, what was it, a writer-director debut, or what was he?
Something like that. I know for sure he directed.
It was like, it was all him.
And they shot it super fast. I was listening to an interview with him, and he was saying they did it in like 45 days or something like that.
Yeah. I do love Edward Norton.
He's great.
But it was always interesting to see when they put on that director cap.
Oh, yeah.
Speaking of that, I think an underrated actress is Bryce Dallas Howard.
Oh, she's good.
She's always in weird.
Yeah.
Her movie selections are odd.
She's kind of all over the place.
Yeah, Jurassic World, and then she was in an episode of Black Mirror, which I don't usually watch, but that episode is actually good. And she is directing the newest episode, at the time of this recording, the newest episode of The Mandalorian.
She's directing?
She's directing. Episode 4, yeah. But, I know you haven't seen it yet, but I got Disney Plus.
I've seen 1 and 2. I got Disney Plus.
You've seen 1 and 2? Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I saw episode 1 and 2.
Great, yeah. I got Disney Plus. I broke down.
I joined the cult.
Because, it's just the thing right now, right? You gotta check it out.
Yeah.
And I have to clarify this with saying that for the first 12 years of my life, Star Wars was it for me. Star Wars was my world, and particularly I love the Mandalorians. I used to read the Dark Horse comics all the time about the Mandalorians.
Dark Horse is awesome, dude.
They're very intense because as soon as you take away the abilities of the Jedi, the connection with the Force and their incredible skills, if you take those things away from the world, it suddenly becomes very dangerous and dark.
Yeah.
It's a really dangerous
world. It's like a vigilante, old Western world.
Yeah. But the magic of the Force makes everything kind of safe. So as soon as you take that away, it's very intense.
It's great.
And Dark Horse nailed that. There was one comic in particular that I always remember was when Count Dooku was still a Jedi, and he got sort of incorrect bullshit orders to attack this camp of Mandalorians, and it's just this incredible massacre. Their limbs are coming off, they're bleeding, they're all
real gory in the Dark Horse.
Very gory, very intense. But they're great. They're great comics. Always been a fan. Had tons of action figures. What I would do is I would buy multiple Boba and Jango Fett action figures, and I would go to Michael's or any craft store, get really tiny painting tools, and I would paint them different colors. I get little tiny brushes, and I get lots of little paints, and I paint them. So I'd have an army of Mandalorians. I really did that. I love the Mandalorians.
But you were a big hit with the ladies.
I was.
Yeah.
That being said, I didn't really like it that much. I thought it was okay.
You mean the show?
The show.
Yeah.
I wasn't super gung ho about it.
I liked what I saw, but I also went in I only saw the first 2 episodes so far, but I also really wanted to like it. That was the thing.
I did too.
And I was like, please, be good for once, because the new era of Star Wars, the Disney Star Wars, in my opinion, not that great.
I think we can all agree on that.
Yeah, it sucks.
Aesthetically, they did their homework. The ship that he starts out with was actually a ship that you have in an old video game where you play as Jango Fett.
Oh, no shit.
And I've noticed a lot of other things. They've kind of, it's like a melting pot for a lot of different Mandalorian references.
Okay.
But I don't like that. We were talking about this the other day. Not only in The Mandalorian, but in all the Disney Star Wars media we've seen, they choose vast, blank, flat landscapes a lot of the time.
And that's like a trend throughout the whole, the last 3 movies they've done. It's like everything takes place in Tatooine and nothing happens.
Even in Solo, I saw Solo on a plane. Someone else was watching it in front of me, and I was kind of like, it was bad. Yeah. But even in Solo, you'd think he should be in these a scummy city or something. But lots of flat beaches.
You thought Solo would have been more like Blade Runner.
Yes, that would have been cool.
Too bad.
There's support.
But same guy.
No, And I was talking to a friend about Mandalorian the other day, and he made the point that they have I guess it's not a small budget, but they have a smaller budget than obviously the films. So he was saying maybe they couldn't afford to build all these sets, so they chose.
Even then, they're probably still working with millions.
Right.
It's relax.
My big thing is that I guess it's impressive on a technical level. That's another thing I've been hearing a lot. People have been more appreciative of films in terms of their lighting and their cinematography, which obviously are important things. Yeah. But again, to me, I go in for the story. And the main problem I had with Mandalorian is that it just seemed like stuff happened. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There was no point, there was no center.
It could have been more, but also it's growing. It has more time to grow and evolve.
It does.
As a series.
Yeah.
But you know what I'm holding out for? Bill Burr, episode 6. That's the only reason I'm watching The Mandalorian.
Me too.
That's the only reason.
I know. When I saw the trailer and I saw him with this, he was tri-wielding. He had dude. Oh my god. Yeah. That's all I want.
Billy Freckles. I love him.
Billy Freckles.
My boy.
Yeah. I've been considering canceling the account, but I gotta wait till we see him. He's in 6.
That's what he's saying on the podcast.
Okay, it's gonna be 2 weeks away.
Ooh, yeah, coming up.
Yeah,
because it's on 4 right now, right?
Right.
Yeah, I gotta catch up. I'll watch the other 2 tonight. But like I said, I like what I'm seeing, but I'm not like, oh my god, I'm not crazy about it because it still needs time to evolve.
I think the writing is because everyone makes fun of the writing in the prequels. The writing in this really bugged me.
Really?
I hated when he said. He always references the fact that he's a Mandalorian, and other people reference the fact that he's a Mandalorian.
Yeah.
Whenever he's not sure he can do something, they're all like, "You're a Mandalorian."
That's weird.
And then when he needs to clarify anything about, I guess, his masculinity, he's I'm a Mandalorian. Yeah. And there was one line, I hated it. It was, he said, "I'm a Mandalorian. Weapons are part of my religion." I just thought I don't know, for some reason.
I'm surprised Disney let that fly. Weapons, no, clean it up, stop.
It sounds like something an angsty little kid would think was cool.
Yeah, it's a little surface level, but that's kind of how these new ones have been. They're kind of, and like I said, I'm not against this one. I like where it's going.
Yeah.
But I think also it's created by a lot of people that are trying to appease the fans, but they're kind of going about it in a backwards way.
Right.
Yeah, they don't fully understand the original trilogy, the prequel trilogy.
Yeah, I'm really digging into this. I don't think I dig into this so much, but I've opened it up.
Alright, dive in, Boba.
Another thing is that the Mandalorians they're very cold. They're cold-hearted killers.
Yeah.
That's the whole point. Mm-hmm. And I thought a cool arc for him was that he would kind of gain a conscience, gain a heart. Yeah. But I think he did that too early on with the Baby Yoda.
Oh, the baby! Yeah, I wasn't crazy about the Baby Yoda.
Yeah. I think he should have completed the contract, no questions asked.
Yeah.
And then later on, maybe
Baby Yoda would have been a cool reveal, in the final episode of the first season.
Yeah.
Yeah. And now they're throwing all these memes out, and it's everyone's mom on Christmas morning, and it's Yoda holding a coffee mug, and you're like, okay, it's amusing, but everything gets abducted by the meme culture and then just raped.
It does. It really does. And then another level. This is more something that I think noticed specifically as a composition major, but the soundtrack is really bad. It's really not good.
You always notice that.
Yeah, again, the Mandalorians are dark, gritty, and they're intense. The morality scale is almost obsolete when it comes to the Mandalorians, and it's not only the content, but it's when it happens. Nothing will be happening, and there's going to be a really heroic fanfare. he like leaves the planet. He's just like taking a shit in the desert. Just, nothing's happening, and it's always like pump up.
Yeah, he's a
like rocky music. You know, so it just doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, I don't know. All the Disney stuff. I mean, like I'll watch and see, but I'm not holding my breath.
Yeah,
I'm not holding my breath.
I don't know.
Let's talk about Joker.
Joker. Okay. Yeah. Joker.
Tell me your thoughts on Joker.
Okay, I'll tell you my thoughts like chronologically.
Okay.
When I watched the trailer, I thought, oh god, this is gonna be bad.
Really?
Yeah. Wow. I thought the whole like Joker as a character had been, excuse the pun, joked to death. Like he'd become a meme.
Okay.
If you notice online,
just kidding.
Online you see the Joker talking about society, right? You see those all, and it's. Yeah. I got a little tired of him as a character. Okay. And I thought the movie looked too self-aware to me, and I was like, oh, this is gonna be not good. Oh. But we watched the movie, and I'll also be honest, I was a little scared of getting shot the whole time.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I was kind of
Dude, when I went into the theater, there was a cop in the lobby.
Good.
He was like there, like ready to go, and I was like, oh shit.
It was the only time I went to a movie theater and I actually did note the closest exit. Yeah. That I was telling you to do.
I used to always look for the people around me. I'm like, who would be a good human shield?
Exactly. Yeah. So I had a little escape plan in case anything went down. It was better than I thought it was going to be. I'll give it that. Okay. I'll give it that. Walking out of the theater, I was like, okay, cool. And then the people I was with started really digging into it. They thought it was awful.
Oh, they thought it was awful?
Yeah, they didn't. They hated it. Wow. And then that kind of got to me, I guess. And I was like, yeah, it's bad, Wow. But no, I think all that aside, it was okay. I don't think it was mind blowing. I don't think it really had anything super important to say. Okay. But that's just from my point of view. Because I know it hit a lot of people. Mm-hmm.
No pun intended.
No. But yeah, I don't know. I guess it just didn't vibe with me in the same way that it did. Because a lot of my friends really, really liked it.
I liked it.
I don't know.
I know you liked it. I'm one of those friends. Yeah, I thought it was really good, man. It was actually better than I expected. Yes. Because I kind of went in and I was thinking, okay, like, how are you gonna even come close to like Heath Ledger or Jack Nicholson, right. Or the great Jared Leto? I'm just kidding. Jared Leto. The great Jared Leto. Jared Leto's awesome, but his Joker was not the best. No, I think we can all agree on that. But I liked it a lot actually. I thought it was really cool. It reminded me of Taxi Driver. Like it like had that big build up and the boiling point. I thought Joaquin was awesome. I really enjoyed it. It was probably I'd say my top 3 for the whole year.
It looked good. It looked really good too. It was filmed well, shot well. All the acting was really good.
My only complaint was at the end. I wanted another 20 minutes. Like once things went into full anarchy. Right. Spoiler alert. I wanted another 20 minutes. I wanted to see, and also one thing that's kind of different about this one compared to the other ones is this is the first time we haven't seen Joker interact with Batman. Because even in Suicide Squad, there was a tiny bit.
Well, he did. But not Batman, quote unquote.
Yeah, Bruce Wayne.
But I know what you mean. Yeah.
But there wasn't that dichotomy,
right?
And that's kind of what always made him great. It was always,
it was sort of
the dark and the light.
And this is another, I guess, problem I had with it is that it was his origin story. But I always thought that there are certain characters where the more they're shrouded in mystery, the more powerful they are. Yep. Like Darth Maul from Star Wars, we know nothing about him. That's what makes him so terrifying. He just represents the Sith are coming back, and he's like the best face, the best.
Or like in Batman Begins, Scarecrow. Yeah, they didn't touch on his backstory at all.
And
he was terrifying.
Yeah, and especially someone like
they did a tiny bit, but it wasn't like going deep into his life. It was like they gave you the gist of it, right? And you're like, okay, I get it. Yeah. And then that's what made it terrifying.
Yes. Yeah. But I think especially a character like the Joker that is so iconic and so representative of just insanity and sort of toying with Bruce Wayne, that it's really tough to give him a backstory.
It is tricky.
It's really tough to like humanize him. Yeah. I don't know that. Yeah. I think just that alone, I was like, ooh, I don't know if this works for the character. It's definitely a different kind of Joker, which is okay. But I prefer the just like.
He shows up.
I like the Jack Nicholson simple mobster Joker, just like killing people,
Even that one, they gave him an origin story, but it was very quick.
Right, it was very quick.
And he was already a dickhead to begin with.
Exactly, yeah.
And it wasn't like any big transformation. Exactly. He was a bad guy, Jack Napier, and then he fell in the vat of chemicals.
But this guy had this huge transformation. Which and the other thing is, I personally, I was like, know. This isn't really a judgment to the movie, but a judgment to his character. I do get into movies. I really I forget that they're real sometimes. I think I've told you before that a lot of like slasher films just make me sad. Watching people die, I'm just like, oh, this is terrible.
Like, how do they kill all those people?
Right, no, it's, just, I don't know. I get into it a little too much. And I think his character, I thought he was weak-willed, and that bugged me. Like, he went through some shit, but he didn't go through, what he went through wasn't that bad.
And I think he's kind of snapped.
Yeah. I was like, come on, man, you can handle this. So I was just annoyed that he was like, I thought he was just kind of a little shit, I guess.
I wanted more Brian Callen. Brian Callen was
Which one was it, Thomas Wayne?
No. Brian Callen, he was one of the clowns in the group, and they really cut out a lot of his screen time, so you only hear him say 2 lines, but he's an amazing comedian. Brian Callen. Yeah. And I was like, man, I think he would have, if he would have gotten, 5 or 10 more lines, that would have been great, He would have been cool. Instead of the little dwarf guy and the, who's the other guy, the big guy?
The big guy, yeah.
Was he like the Full Metal Jacket guy?
I don't know, was it?
I
don't remember. The Full Metal Jacket guy is in a lot of stuff, though.
I might be getting it confused with someone else. Similar look. But, yeah. That's what I have to say about Joker. I liked it, though. I give it 4 stars.
You give 4 stars?
Yeah, out of 5.
Oh, wow. Yeah. And I did go out of the theater thinking it was better than I thought it was going to be, but I think my expectations were much lower than yours.
It's okay. Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, though, holy shit.
I do gotta see that.
You gotta see that.
Yeah.
That's the best thing I've seen the whole year.
Yeah?
Whole year, yeah. That. Also, the one I watched the most, it wasn't groundbreaking or anything, but I really loved it, was John Wick 3. I watched the hell out of it. Yeah. I love Keanu.
It's funny,
Keanu's great.
I've never, action movies 9 times out of 10 just kind of bore me.
Yeah.
I don't know. My mom's really into them. She loves action movies, which is really funny.
We should hang out.
Me and
your mom.
Exactly. Yeah, I don't know. I remember when the first one came out. I was working at Harkins Theaters, and my manager, he had just come out of watching it. He was at the reel or whatever, so he was just back there watching the movie. They don't do this anymore, but that's what I imagine.
He's making sausages very quickly.
It was so out of character for him. He was very down to business. Only talk to the employees when he needs something work related. But he came out of watching it the first time, and he gave me a 20-minute rundown of the whole film.
John Wick?
Like a little kid. He was like, oh, and then he was shooting the glass, and then he was so excited about it.
The fight sequences in that are so well choreographed.
Right, yeah.
Dude, I mean, if you watch it for one reason, because you're not really watching it for the story, you're watching it for the ass kicking.
Right.
And the violence and the crazy.
I think that's why it kind of loses me. I can respect it, but and that's just really hard work.
Fresh Colombian coffee beans. The finest brewed Starbucks coffee. We promise it won't give you diarrhea.
Hey, thank you. We're back from our break from the message from our sponsors. Did you buy some stuff? Did you? Y'all ready for the holidays? Oh, the holidays coming up. How do you feel about the Christmas season as an adult?
Stressful.
Yeah.
Very stressful.
Yeah, it's a little shitty.
It is.
Yeah, but there's also some magic though floating around, lingering.
Yeah. There's a little piece of the younger you in there still that's just excited about the imagery, the lights, and everything.
Totally.
I remember my favorite thing ever about the holidays, bar none, the first house I ever lived at growing up, my window faced the front yard, and my favorite thing about the holidays was that falling asleep to the lights that hung out that I could see through the window.
Yeah.
It was just it was the coziest thing.
Magical.
It was so warm, and it just put me right out.
Yeah.
It was good. That was it. Yeah. For some reason that alone was just very.
That's like one of your early Christmas memories.
Yeah. And I always got so excited for that. We always had to put the lights up because I wanted that.
I was a weird kid, man. When I was a kid, I was scared of Santa Claus.
Yeah.
The thought of a guy breaking into our house, even to give us something, still freaked me out. So I remember I'd always close my bedroom door and have a hard time sleeping. I'm like, he's coming, he's bringing elves, And then of course in the morning I was stoked. I'm like, oh, present, it was amazing. Christmas morning I used to get so excited. I'd wake up early and scoot around and look through the kitchen and the living room and be like, oh, there's stuff. Yeah, I can be all excited.
You know what's kind of sad?
What?
I don't think I ever believed it.
You never believed it?
Never believed it.
Wow.
And my mom was so nice. She would a lot of half the presents would be from Santa, and she'd have this really ornate writing that said Santa and everything. It was cool. It was still exciting, but
yeah.
Thinking back, I never
bought
bought
into
No.
it, huh?
Never did.
I was a naive little shit.
No, it's cool. I wish I would have. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I probably around the age of 8, like 3rd grade. I remember like friends and stuff in school being like, "Oh, he's not real. He's not real," and I was like, "What?" You know? I was like, "Oh shit." Yeah. And then after that, then it was kind of like, okay. Like,
I remember kids thinking they were the shit when they could be like, "No, dude, you really believe in Santa?" You know, like
this 7-year-old, you're such a
right.
you're such a fuckhead.
Such assholes. I was never that.
No.
I was felt so bad.
Sorry, go ahead.
I always tried to like console the kids who had just been told that Santa wasn't real. No, maybe he is. You never know.
It's like killing their childhood religion.
It is. Yeah.
The death of Santa is a big thing. You know?
The death of Santa.
I would say around like 8 years old. I was kind of like, okay, yeah.
Right.
But magic though, dude, magic.
It is. Yeah.
You know about Krampus?
Isn't that just the old version of Santa?
No. Krampus was like the scary version.
Oh yeah, right. Yeah.
He was like European.
The older version of anything is always the scary version.
It was like to keep everyone in check. You know, you're thankful to get an orange and a sock. You know,
Yeah.
but I think he was like German or some shit. Like he would come in and like eat the kids or some shit. I don't know. Krampus, look him up.
He'd come in and eat the kids.
Let's look up Krampus. Let's look up Krampus. But yeah,
I remember depictions of him being scary. He's like kind of tall and lanky. I don't know. What happened to isn't Saint Nick the first one? They kind of merged. Krampus and Saint Nick had a baby. And it was Santa Claus.
Yeah, he was all fucked up.
Coca-Cola Santa Claus.
All right. And what's the deal with all the Coca-Cola polar bears? You know?
I don't fucking know.
Like, polar bears are so vicious.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, oh, they want to give you a Coke. I'm like, no, they want to eat your face. You know?
And it makes me uncomfortable watching polar bears drink like icy soda. It's just weird. Like,
Right.
shouldn't it be?
Yeah,
They'd be wanting something warm. I don't know. I guess polar bears don't give a shit.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know anything about polar bears.
All right. All right, let's read about Krampus. In Central European folklore, Krampus is a horned, anthropomorphic figure described as half goat, half demon,
Jesus.
who during the Christmas season punishes children who have misbehaved.
So he's always bad.
Yeah.
Okay.
Look at his face.
He looks like Satan.
Yeah. He punishes kids who misbehaved in contrast with Saint Nicholas, who rewards well-behaved kids with gifts. That's also like Berlo Negro in is that in Mexico? They have like the Blackbeard.
It's literally just like God and Satan, but it's like for that holiday.
Yeah.
Because Saint Nick he rewards you for being good.
Yeah, and the elves are the angels.
The elves, yeah. What the hell?
Yeah, we figured it out. We cracked the code.
We figured out Christmas.
We cracked the code. It's kind of scary.
It is weird.
Yeah, there's something creepy about it. I don't know. Have fun.
Does Krampus give you the coal? Is that where that comes from? Or
I think he just fucks you up.
He beats you. It's like in Full Metal Jacket.
For some reason, I thought he ate the kids.
He fills the stocking with coal, and at night he comes and pulls you down.
Yeah. Yep. And then one of the elves puts a gun in his mouth.
He just straight up eats the kids. Jesus Christ.
It's something like that. Yeah. It's something. And they made a movie too with what's his name? I forget his name. Adam Scott. Adam Scott. Yeah, he's in Krampus, and I really enjoyed it. It was fun because the first half of the movie, I'd say, like probably the first hour is like a comedy, and you're like, oh, this is like a quirky like Netflix comedy, and then the rest is like horror, action, and like really gory, and you're like, oh, what am I watching? Jesus. But they did a good job.
They did a good job?
Krampus is actually enjoyable.
Yes.
Yeah, I like
holiday horror movies. That's always a
crapshoot.
Yeah.
Mostly crap.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanksgiving. It's a good one.
Yeah, not familiar
Bloody
with that.
Valentine.
Yeah.
Well, that was like an event, but I did have so many movies about it. Jesus.
What was the Money Pit?
The Money Pit?
The Money Pit.
It's my favorite one.
Great one, masterpiece. Better than The Godfather. Strange Wilderness stays on.
Yeah, but I don't know. The holidays are like they feel like an obligation, I'll be honest.
Totally.
Yeah.
100%.
And they come at a bad time, especially if you're a student.
Oh,
You're like, you just got out of paying for school, and then it's like, oh, I gotta buy everyone gifts.
Yeah.
I
love the season, but the advertising is really annoying.
Yeah.
And when they shove the Christmas music down your throat in like November, I'm like, stop, quit it.
Yeah. Obviously, back in the day, like turn of the century and beyond, we were always more connected with the weather, the seasons changing. I've noticed a lot of old musicals always reference like, winter everything dies and then spring represents rebirth, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
And the fact that all these holidays happen in like the dead of winter is kind of humbling. It's really nice. Like it must have been a really shitty time for all these people, so they wanted to try as hard as they could to like make it to boost morale and get through it.
Yeah.
Because I feel like the winter coming is always this terrifying, like, oh, we're gonna get sick, it's gonna be cold, we're gonna even like we're gonna make it
half the family's gonna die.
Right, exactly. Yeah. So the fact that it's there is it's very sweet. And
I can see that.
I do appreciate it on that level.
Yeah. In Australia, it's probably nice.
Right.
You know, you don't have to fuck with the cold.
Exactly. They're sweating on Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
They don't celebrate Thanksgiving. They're sweating on Christmas.
Sweating on Christmas. Yeah. Hey, let's go surfing. Right. Open up presents on the beach.
Exactly.
Put another shrimp on the barbie. Yeah. What are your predictions for the next decade? Because, you know, it's kind of silly. It's just a calendar event, but at the same time, it's significant. You know, every decade's a new thing. Well, what are your big predictions for, like? I'll give you three. Let's say pop culture, technology, and politics for the next 10 years. What do you think?
Oh man, I don't know, dude. I'll take it in reverse. Politics have been so like tight and stressful and weird. I think we're all more like aware of them, but everyone's a little more like wound up.
Totally.
Everyone's sort of in their corner.
It's very divisive. The past 10
polarized.
years.
Everyone's I hope we're gonna see some change with that. I hope we'll come back to being a little more civil.
Yeah.
Because it's just it comes to a point where you can't take it anymore. It's just too much.
Yeah.
You know. And this next election is gonna be insane.
Yeah. People get they get riled, man. People get riled.
They do. I don't know. I'm hoping there's gonna be a change for the better. I hope we'll have less practiced politicians. I hate like whenever you see the debates and there's guys that you can tell they've memorized their response and they're regurgitating it. Yeah. And I hope we see more genuine candidates and politicians in general. Really, that's all I look for. In I don't want to name names because I don't want to get political, but my one thing when I like decide whether or not I like a politician is if I listen to them and I feel like they're a real human being and I can have a conversation with them. Because so many of these people, they're just like this weird cardboard cutout. They have rehearsed lines, and it's like I couldn't like hang out with this person. Yeah. If I feel like I could hang out with them, then I like them. I feel like it's a really bad assessment.
Yang 2020.
It's Yang. I don't want to give names, but make your own decisions on who you think is like a real human being. Totally. Versus like this weird.
Totally. You know, yeah. It'd be nice if people go back to the way they were in like the 60s or maybe earlier, where it's like, oh, you're a Democrat, you know, vote my way, you know what I mean? Where it's like, it was like more jokey, you know? And now people are like, I'm going to kill you. And you're like, whoa, agree with me or you're dead, you know? Like,
it's like your blood, you know, your blood is different if you're...
People get way too fucking riled up.
It's really intense.
It's like they need to go back, like you said, and be more civil about it. And it's kind of just like, oh, Hufflepuff, Gryffindor, all right. Yeah.
Anyway. Pop culture. I don't even know what pop culture has been doing the last few years.
It's been kind of schizophrenic.
Insane, the music is just kind of beyond me. I don't really understand it.
It's terrible, dude. I mean, the stuff at the top, like the top 40 stuff, is usually garbage, you know. Yeah. But I think, thank God for the internet, because like on YouTube you can find and Spotify, you can find like amazing artists. Like there's so much talent out there. Yeah. But the different avenues for finding it have just kind of spread out.
You got to dig a lot.
Yeah, totally. There's probably more good stuff now than ever. Yes. But it's just the channels. There's so many of them. Yeah. You know.
It's really. I mean, I think everyone knows at this point that the music industry is incredibly corrupt. All the top artists are tied to brand names, and that's what's keeping them afloat. It's just really weird. It's totally misrepresentative of like their music and what people actually want to listen to these days. Yeah. But that's all a wash right now. I gave up on all that.
And it's weird when you see like Billie Eilish. She's like what, like 18, and she's like on the Tonight Show and like killing it. I'm like, she came out of nowhere, and you're like, I don't know.
She's okay, but I don't get it.
I don't like it.
I'll be honest, 100%. I don't understand it.
I don't get it at all.
That's kind of where I.
It just sounds like she's like huffing a can of paint.
I used to be really angry at all that stuff, but I think both of us have lost a little steam on being angry, and we can just be.
Yeah, I mean, you just kind of accept it.
Yeah.
You're like, okay, like. I mean, my taste is so weird, you know. So it's like.
The one thing that freaks me out is I think technology is just going to go wild, and I think we're going to have to answer some of those questions about like, is this moral or not?
It's going to be the big one.
It's going to be intense. That's the one thing I'm kind of frightened of.
I think I don't know if it's going to be within the next 10 years, but I'm going to say definitely within the next 25 years, if technology keeps advancing the way it's going on all fronts, where it's like just rapidly increasing and becoming a bigger part of our lives, you're going to have a bunch of people that are going to be kind of like the Amish, but not quite, and they're going to step away, and they're going to say, nope, and they're going to cut it at like, hey, all we need is like 2005 technology. They're just going to dip out, or they're going to keep things kind of analog, and they're going to go off, and they're going to be like, hey, maybe we don't need a chip under our skin, you know, tracking our location.
It's weird. I think we have come a long, long way. I think we are living in the future, but it's so gradual that it's hard to see. Like the fact that we have GPS, we have AirPods, like all that is so alien.
For sure. Yeah. I mean, think of seeing like this in 1980.
Oh yeah, it would have blown my mind.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like
even like when I was a little kid, I would have been like, what the?
Oh, totally. I mean, because you had like Game Boy and stuff, but then it's like then there's that whole next step.
Oh, yeah.
There's that whole next step, you know. So technology is going to be the biggie.
Yeah.
I think technology. Hopefully, entertainment gets better. I think hopefully. People will kind of pull away from the big box office like Marvel movies and stuff, which are fun. They have their place, but hopefully they'll kind of get back to like more independent cinema and more like unique stories.
Yeah, definitely. Well, let us know what you guys think.
Yeah, thanks for watching, guys.
Yeah.
And more to come in 2020. Make sure you subscribe and share, and good luck with the next year.